Hello everybody, it's the Farm Sim Guy here. Hope you're all well. How's things? Doing something a bit different tonight. So I don't know how it's going to go, never done this before, so I think we'll just start off. I've got a bit of a plan in my head, so we'll just have a play and see how we get on. Evening Thomas, Frederick, JC, Terry Powell, 3 PM CST, Grizzly, how you doing mate? BNSF, Mark, MacBreck, Lazy Gamer, Machek, Havoc, Farming Sim. You're all here, guys. How are you doing? Okay, so yeah, something a bit different tonight. I thought I'd show you a little bit of the background to what I do, but also we thought we'd have a bit of a play later on with maybe creating a couple of thumbnails. If any of you got videos coming up and you need a thumbnail for them, I could talk you through the process, but actually design it for one of you guys rather than for me. So we could have a go at that. But to start with, we're going to look at a sim dashboard screen. Maybe the first hour or so, we'll sort of design the background to that, and then we'll import it into sim dashboard, and you can see how the process goes for that. So just so you know as well, I released a couple of other ones today. I think they're being approved at the moment, but I can show you those in the design phase at the moment. So there's a couple of tractor ones in there as well. Before all that, I hope you all had a brilliant Christmas. Hope you got time to relax, spend some time with your families and all that stuff. Hopefully you've got a few more days off work as well. I know I'm off till the 4th of January, so I'm very relaxed, I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, I was going to put a bit of music on. Feels like the kind of evening for a bit of background music. And hopefully you can hear that. JC modding, I love the JCB you sent me. I'm going to do a video on it actually. I'll definitely share it with the community anyway. So let's jump into so the two main programs I use for building Sim Dashboard. In fact, the main program really in this instance is Adobe Illustrator. Loads of you will have heard of Adobe Photoshop. This Illustrator is a slightly different tool. It basically works with vector graphics. So vector graphics are graphics that you can scale up and scale down, and they don't lose any quality. They don't go pixelated. So it's really good for computer graphics and things like that when they have to run on different size screens and things like that. So that's what I'm using for this thing. There's the guidance page. There's a few additions to this actually, which I'll be able to talk you through. There's the Combine one, and you can see all of these elements here. They're the little buttons. The image is separate. All these little icons that I created. Text is it's all different elements that you build up over time. So these little panels you build, and then these icons are all built separately, and then you import it into Sim Dashboard and overlay the buttons over it. So there's the new screen. I've done two. I've done the 8RX and I've done the 8R. Identical functionality, but just thought we could have a different tractor in there, just for everybody who doesn't want an 8RX. And then down here is where I create some of the buttons and things like that. So all these are called artboards. So they're sized to the correct size of an Android dash. So it's 16 by 10 resolution. So it's slightly bigger than 16 by 9. So your normal telly would be 16 by 9. But 16 by 10 is slightly more square. It's got more space in the height. What Android tablet do I recommend for Sim Dash, Thomas? To be honest, you could get away with running pretty much anything. Sim Dash is incredibly lightweight. It depends what else you're doing with it, to be honest. If you want it as a tablet for everything else that you're doing, I'm running, I think it's got 4 gig of RAM and a 32 gig memory. I'm running on the latest Android software. I don't really know what it is off the top. I'll have a look and I'll post it, Thomas, just so you can see it. But yeah, I think if you just want to run it for farming sim, to start off with, I was running it on my daughter's creaky 6-year-old Amazon Kindle Fire. So yeah, no, it was running like absolutely super smooth on there. Now you see here I've got a couple of reference images as well, from actual real John Deere dashes. Now we can't replicate these perfectly because some of the functionality doesn't exist in Sim Dashboard. So what we'll do, we'll start building out this screen. Now there's some elements to this that always remain constant. So across the top of the page here, these arrows, even though they're not functional, we'll leave them in just for a bit of realism. So what's nice is I've created some of this before, so all I need to do is recreate it. Rather than recreate it, sorry, I need to just copy and paste it. Make sure it's in the right place. So you can zoom right in and make sure it's aligned. Looks good. And then I want this background as well, only because if you look at the reference image again, subtle as it is, there's a gradient that runs from the top of the page behind these panels, going from dark to light, so I'm going to replicate that. So you just drop that onto there, and that's the start of your background. Now I've got a little bit of a sketch which you won't see in front of you, but I kind of had a little bit of a think about how I wanted this to work, and knowing the space I've got to play with, I'm going to basically build out all of these panels before I decide what I put into them. But I know I want to put fuel in one, water temperature, RPM, things like that. So I kind of know we need some of these dials here. The rear hitch, raise and lower, we'll probably incorporate that as well. Some of these readings, some of the field information, we might just have to wing it a little bit as we go through it. But what we'll do is, again, this is an element that's constant at the bottom. Now I don't want all of the icons at the moment, so I'm just going to take the green menu, and I'm going to take those. I'm hopefully going to get rid of the background. There we go. I'm going to cheat now. Paste in place. Didn't work. Edit. Paste in place. There we go. I don't know what I've done there. I'm going to have to go back and sort that. Never do a live demo. There you go. There we go. We've got those buttons in at the bottom. Okay. Evening, Coleman. How are you doing? Then we'll grab our menu. That's a constant screen, so we'll keep that in. I don't know what else I've grabbed there. Oh, there we go. That looks like we've got everything there. So now if I do paste in place, drops it in the same place, so I don't need to worry about things like that. Now, let's go back and look at our reference here. We've got 1, 2, 3, so I certainly want this. I want these 3, because I know I've got 3 animated bars in Sim Dashboard, which then leaves me with kind of a little bit too much space there, but I'll maybe work that out as I go along. So what we'll do is we'll just take one of these, and again we'll paste it in place, because then we know it's the right width. And what we can do now is keep duplicating this. I'm just going to group them actually, so when I move them they don't get separated out. I'm not too fussed about where they go at the moment, because I'll show you why in a minute. So there we go. Some of them are too wide. Phil S, I have actually seen them. They look good, yeah. They look good. It's got a lot of information on them. Boris, this is Adobe Illustrator. This is Adobe Illustrator. So what I can do now is I can select these, and I can, not do that. I can align them so they're spaced perfectly. Now I have a slight issue here that the spacing on one side is different to another, so I'm just going to get them a bit of a guesstimate there. Now I want to half the width of this one, because I know we're going to be say 180. It's linked now, so I need to unlink it. So there you go, there's our narrow. Now what it'll do, it messes the corners up there, it doesn't make those accurate, so actually what I'm going to do there is ungroup that one. Because we only want to adjust the bottom now. Somewhere there's a rounded there, 7 pixel rounded corners there. So what we will do is remember that, and when we shrink the width of this to 180 and align it to here, it's kept that width, which is good. We'll do this to 182. Now, don't know why the corners have gone wrong on that, so I'm going to undo that again. Sometimes this becomes a bit of a trial and error job as well. There we go. What did I say about never doing a live demo? There we go. That's what I wanted. And the heights of these are all slightly off as well. I'm going to group that again. And I can align those all so they're all perfectly aligned to the top of the page. Ooh. There we go, come out of that. I'm actually going to move that off the page. Is that not selected either? We'll group those separately. Now we know they're the right size now, so we can remove them off the... Remember to group them properly. We can remove them off the thing there, and then we want to... Oh dear. It's not what's supposed to happen. There you go, grouped. Okay, sorry, just reading the chat there, sorting out the spammers, they won't bother us again. So, why is it doing that? Oh, I know why. There we go. Helps if you selected the right button. Now, one of the nice things about Illustrator is that it spaces things out for you. You've got these lovely guides. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to lock this object, which means it won't move now, so I can play around in here and stretch these out without having too many issues. So there you go, there's our dials. What did I want in this one? Raise low, I want that in there as well. Now I'm not going to do all of this tonight, I'm just going to do a few bits because I don't want you to get bored. Hate for you to get bored. So we'll do a bit of this. And then we'll jump into Sim Dash and I'll show you how that works as well. So I want a third one of these, don't I? Just doing it again. Paste. So what we've got there is how we wanted that laid out. And then underneath here, we can make this fit how we want. Now this is just a case of making sure that you kind of fill the dash up properly with enough elements. Like so. I'm going to have to go for a slightly wider one at the end here now because we've only got, if we had 4 of these it would have worked out nicely, but we've basically got one too many. Although we could have a little bit of a, see that's too wide as well. But I'm just wondering if we maybe make one of these, maybe we put our lights in there. We can switch all our lights on and off using that one. So let's do that, shall we? And let's run that right down to the bottom, somewhere there. That's quite a nice space for lights there. What do we say we were going to do in here? This one was going to be speedometer. I think we were going to do this one. Oops. I have OCD as well. Like I always need things to be perfect when they don't actually need to be perfect. So I end up dithering around a lot. See, that's not level. It's going to annoy me if I don't fix that. There we go. Is that right? No, still not right. That's the one we wanted. Evening, Chris. How are you doing? Raymond, welcome to the stream, sir. This looks like a headache in the making. What are those screens for? MacBrick, I'm making sim dashboard screens. Pigeth, I am probably going to think about including the cruise control mod in all of them. Actually, I just need to work out how to make sure I've got it working properly. Now, are these all separate still? Or if I select one of these, does it move the background? And yes, it does. Just got to make sure everything's grouped before I start moving stuff. So you see my alignment here. See, I'm narrower here than I am. These are fatter and some of them are narrower. So what I'm going to do is just select them all again, and I'm going to why isn't that working? Ah, for goodness sake, this is story of my life. That's fine, that's fine. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. So, with all that assumed, with all aligned top, they should all now align. Oh, I give up. This is what happens. Stupid program. I'll do it manually. Yes, that cruise control mod looked really good actually. I didn't realize it was out for FS19. So that's great because it was one I enjoyed in FS17. Basically, you can set your cruise control to have 3 presets. So you could set it 4 miles an hour, 6 miles an hour, and 10 miles an hour, say. And you can just hit a button and it will jump to those speeds, which is really nice. Little tweak. So there we go. We'll do him there. I may shuffle some of these around later on after I've put it into Sim Dash and worked out what's what in there. But I do know there's some that I want to work. So what am I going to do now? I think 3 along the bottom. I'm going to put radio and everything. This is going to be probably the most multi-purpose of all the panels I've done so far. Oh, Grizzly, this, honestly. You can actually align stuff, usually it works it out quite well most of the time, but for some reason it's not playing ball tonight. So I think I'll go with... How many of those can I run along here? And I keep on using the wrong buttons. Somebody actually pays me to do this as a day job. If they saw this, they'd be getting rid of me. Here we go. So one of the things I did say in the Discord before, but I know not all of you in the Discord, is we're going to do a couple of thumbnails later on. So if you've got a thumbnail, or if you've got a video coming up that you've got a thumbnail for, you would like me to walk through the process for how I design thumbnails, go and paste it into the Creative Sessions channel on the Discord. And that's why that's not working. Look, they're all different widths. Oh, this makes me sad. Yes, if you post your screenshots in the Creative Sessions channel, we'll design some thumbnails in a little bit, which could be good fun. Let me move you out of the way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this one. The nice thing is, well, you can move stuff off your work area, so you can tweak stuff that way as well, which is quite good. So I know this needs to be short, not that short. You guys hear the music all right in the background? Do I know how to get more hooks out of FS19 to have more functions in Sim Dashboard? I do, Raymond. I need to speak to the guy that makes Sim Dashboard. And the challenge is it's base game functionality versus mods. So I think base game functionality, we can get a bit more out of there. I'd love to get maps. Love to get a way of drawing. So looking at some of the other sim games, like the driving games, you can import the racetrack and your position on the racetrack into Sim Dashboard. Now that functionality is not there for farming sim at the moment, but obviously I think we know that that's potentially possible because you can do it with minimap. So I'm really interested to see if he could make that happen. So I just need to get in touch with him and have a long chat with him about what I'd like to do with it. King Cow, how are you doing? Are my commissions open for logo development? Unfortunately not, no. I have had a lot of people asking me that. I would love to be able to do that, but I just don't have the time. My channel is going so nuts at the moment. I'm doing so many different things that I'm getting by in about 4 hours sleep a night as it is. So just at the moment, I think I need to just focus on what I'm doing. But that's not to say that'll not ever be the case. But yeah, at the moment, I can't take anything more on. I'll fall over. Well, it's either that or I stop doing vids. So let me know. If you want me to stop doing vids, I can do that. Excellent, Grizzly. I will go and check that out in a little while. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to post these functions in the bottom here, because I think we'll keep these probably similar because they are pretty generic in terms of they're handy no matter what you're doing. And we might change some of those as well. But I designed all of these before for the other ones, so you can see they're all hand drawn. Do YouTube full time, please. I wish they paid me enough to do that. So there you go. Basic panel layout, not completely the same as this, but I think this is one of the challenges I've had with Sim Dashboard and the other dashboards that were on there. People took a screenshot like that of the actual screen and then kind of just put bits into it, but lots of bits of it didn't work, and I wanted it to be as usable as possible. So let's just change the active run page. Let's call that active run page. So what we do now with that is we just export that as a background image. Oops. There we go. Just check it's all there. That white line at the top's slightly concerning me. I might need to go back and fix that. Old OCD kicking in again. Object. Not all. There we go. Right, let's export that. Save for web. Oh, it's still there. Right. Stuff else. You can update it later. Rogue Cobra! Thank you for joining, my friend. Kevin, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I put a lot of time into making them the best they can be. So I'll save it in here. Let's call this active run screen. There we go. Pippa, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Never stop the vids. Thank you, Grizzly. I'll do my best. Wiki Farms, welcome to the stream. First time. Great to have you here. Sorry, this is a little. We've not done one like this before, so this is a slightly different. This is a slightly different approach, but hopefully it's useful for you guys. So there we go. We've designed our loose layout, base layout there. Now we will come back in. We'll jump in and out of here quite regularly and tweak this. But what I'll do now, I will jump into Sim Dashboard, if I can find it. There we go. So this is the custom area of Sim Dashboard. So you have to have your tablet running at the moment, and you can open the studio here, and you can see there's my other screens. So what you'll see, let's just go into this one, show you what's what in here. You've got the background image. Rogue Cobra, yes it is. Well, it's in approvals at the moment. This tractor screen at the moment is in approvals. So so yes, hopefully it might even be live now. I've not checked for a couple of hours, but it might even be live now. So definitely go check that out. Wiki Farms, will the dashboard essentially take the place of a side panel? Yes, that's really the aim of it. I mean, I don't have as many buttons yet, but I think across all of the screens, that's potentially the solution. So so from that perspective, yes, it's maybe a slightly cheaper alternative. Certainly a more interactive version. Like visually, I think it's more impactful. So, evening Scott, how are you doing? So what we do now, we're just going to scroll here. Now I'd start to have a look at stuff before the stream. So I've actually pulled a few elements in here, but I will, for example, that is RPM. What I'll do is probably, no, I'll leave them in, but I'll show you where, so background, I want to get rid of that. And I'm going to create, so this is how you add your widgets, and this is basically where the limitation of Sim Dashboard comes in, because there's only certain things you can do. I had a lot of people saying, oh, I want an animated map that you can see stuff on. I'm like, so would I, but the reality is you just can't with what Sim Dash has available at the moment. But hey, you never know for the future. Wiki, I recommend a tablet or a phone will suffice. I know a few of the guys in the Discord using phones with no issues at all. So, no, absolutely. If you want to try it on a phone, go for it. I'm a good modder. Thank you, Pippa. I wouldn't claim to be a modder, and there's some rather more talented people out there than me at modding, but I'm enjoying the Sim Dashboard thing. I'm not going to lie to you. So what happens here, basically, is you can add in a custom image, and you choose your file, and I will go and grab my Sim Dash screen that I just created, which I put in here, active run screen, there you go. Upload that. So there you go. There's the background that we've just imported, and we know it fits the screen. Now what I've got is, you won't be able to see this, but I've got my Android device running next to me as well, so it will pop up there in time as well. So what I want to do now is basically pull this RPM. There's a little snap to grid, so then you have to just move it slightly. But that's your RPM, and then there's your RPM readout there. So you just bring that into place. So in essence, you just start to build this up from here. This is fuel level and water temperature. I think this one is, yes, that's your fuel tank level. So actually I want to keep that on that side, and this one is water temp. So we'll keep that next to the RPMs. I think they're probably more related. So we'll stick them next to each other. And bring the so it's a bit of trial and error here. You just end up starting to tab stuff about a bit as you make it all fit. But this is all real time, so this is actually appearing on my Android tablet at the same time. So you basically are over my network. It's applying these changes live, so it basically saves it almost instantly. So there we go. Just move that into place. And there's tons of functionality as well. You can change the fonts. You can so Droid Sans is my kind of font of choice. It's a little bit chunkier, so works a bit better. I don't want decimal places. I don't know what my water temperature's like, so I'll stick 3 of them in there. We will Droid Sans. Font color's black. Center it like the other ones again here. So it's just a case of building this up over time. So there you go. You've got your 3 live readouts. Now what we would do here is probably jump back into Illustrator and give these titles, so we would know that one would be RPM, water temp, fuel, and re-import that background image. In fact, let's do that. No point in having a live demo if you're not going to actually demo it live, are you? So let's take a bit of text that we've got from one of our other dashboards, paste it in there, so you see it snaps to the center point, so you know everything's aligned, which is quite good. So I just do RPM there, and out the bracket, copy paste. There we go. Or it's not going to fit, is it? No, it is. There we go. I might play around with that and change the size of that slightly, or change the font like that. And here we would put fuel. What I would do there would be export it again. You can see the changes. Evening, Julian. How are you doing? I'm saving it there. Active run screen. Yes. Save optimize. Now, if we jump back into some dashboard, all I need to do now is click anywhere on the background, go and re-choose the file, upload it again. And there you go, you've got your titles in there. Now it does look a bit pixelated in the screen. They run a really low resolution version of the screen, but actually when you drop it on your Android tablet, it looks fine. So in fact, my camera's not set up tonight, so I'm going to just do a little, see if I can do this. If I jump to my stream settings, split actually, yeah. So it's not set up, but I can just in the most rudimentary way show you. There's the 3 screens that I've been testing, but see, that's what we're working on at the moment. So if I literally move that now, I've probably got a better screen than this. Hang on a sec. There we go, full screen, look at that. Now if I move the speedometer here in Sim Dashboard on the PC, there you go, it moves it into place. So I'm moving that here, and it's repositioning over here straight away. So there we go. What am I doing now? Let's go back to this one. That's quite handy, might do that again. And straight away these work. These will, as soon as you turn on the game, these will pick up data. Repair level is actually on my list of things. Grizzly. Good, cool. I've got some settings here, so directional, so degrees and compass direction. Couldn't think what it was then. So let me just let me show you now the sort of the things. So fuel levels you've got here, your AdBlue consumption, your average fuel consumption. They've got built-in dials as well if you want to kind of use old school dials, but part of my fun is creating them myself. Physics has got speed, so you've got your speed bars. There isn't a bar for speed, which is interesting. I wouldn't mind one of those. So again, there's some basic stuff that he has in for certain things, but not for others. But these vertical bars, there you go. There's water temperature, and water temperature is text, which I've already got in. Vehicle, you've got your cruise control speed. different thing, operating hours, so that's one we'll put in. Manufacturer name and the name of the vehicle, so again you've seen that on some of my other screens already. Headlights, so you can switch all the headlights and things on. You still have to attribute the button that you want to make this work with. Money, and here's the agriculture one, but again this is almost like field info only, so I would like to see more stuff added over time to that. If you can get it out of the game, I think that would be brilliant. No, I can't, Kevin, that's the only problem. I haven't got that deep into it yet, but I do want to be able to. I'm not sure if he allows people to create widgets or just dashboards, so that's something I want to look at. Weather, real-time weather again, so that's pretty good. And then button box here, there's some nice functions in fact, here's one I'll show you now because it's a good one. We'll do our start button. So if I drop this down here, like so, you can choose your files for this, and I've got an engine start and an engine stop here, so off would be our default. So you would upload that. So there you go, it's there. And then you would want, basically when you click on the engine start button, open and upload. So there's the other one. And then you go into, so we know the key for this is enter. So you can select the key here, but you can basically you can do a modifier key as well. So Control Alt Shift, or in some cases Control and Shift if you wanted to do it that way. And we obviously don't need it for start engine, but that would be enter, there it is, and toggle mode. So now changes the visual state based on the game data. So in here, if I said now engine is running, and automatically resets the game that's running, and it jumps back to the default. So now let's fire up the camera again. Now, see it again, very rudimentary. Focus, come on, focus. Not going to focus with it, but oh, there it is. For a second, if I tap on that now, see it turns green, and if I was in game, that would turn the engine on. And when you tap it again, it turns the engine off. So again, quite good fun. So lots and lots of bits and pieces like that. Rich Acres modding, how are you doing? Julian, how does Rogue Cobra use an iPad, please? I'm not sure he's using it for Sim Dashboard. Because they don't have an app. You should make the SC Descartes summary screen for the C850. Yep, I'm going to do that, Sheldon. That's on the list of other ones to do. The 4940 sprayers on there as well. A key sequence on press as well. Yes, I know. There's certain elements of it that just it's so close, but it's not quite. Oh, are you running Android on your iPad, Rogue Cobra? Are all the keyboard assignments you do default? Yes, they are. Only because I think that captures the majority of people playing. Now, if you've changed some of your excuse me elements, it's very easy to change. So if you've downloaded the dashboard and let's say you've changed, well, there you go, engine start stop. Instead of it being enter now, you've got it as key 1. So all you need to do is click on open Sim Dashboard, which is just a local IP address, and then go and switch it to whichever button you've got it set to. So it's all that kind of flexibility is there, which is quite good. But yeah, I've kind of gone for the defaults, the base game defaults, because I think the majority of people are running with the base game defaults. All you kind of pesky folk that remap every button. Now we could keep going with this if you wanted. I've just actually noticed, and this is where it kind of gets a bit of a challenge, is I've noticed I've still got old buttons in here that I've had from before, and again, things like that RPM thing is in the wrong place. But then it starts to get quite busy, so now I've got a load of different buttons. I don't know what that is. Move that out of the way now. But there's some readout stuff. There's the add blue, and it tells you in all your widgets down the side here. So there you go, average add blue consumption, average fuel consumption, and I've just put blank overlays over these, so the graphics are done in Illustrator. And then I've put blank overlay buttons over those, so you can just put a button image but not put an image into it. And you can still do all your assignments through there, so it gives you that flexibility. Tool info, so there's a lot of hidden stuff here that you can't see. Vehicle info is those, manufacturer and name down there, so lots of customizable bits in there. And do you know what I'm going to show you just in here as well, because I did it today. So the new version of this screen will have this on, but now you can toggle off the precision farming within the GPS screen. You can toggle off and on precision farming auto application rate. So that's quite a good one, and I've fixed the GPS track so it's got more. You weren't able to control your speed. You had to go back to your keyboard for your speed, so I've tweaked that as well. So, John Mark, evening. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. So, so there you go. Bit of sim dashboard. I'm not going to build the whole thing, just because it would take longer than we've got. But that was a little bit of an overview of how we pull one together, and you can see that starting to take shape. It's going to take a bit longer to get it right. I'm not 100% comfortable with the layout yet. I think there's a better format than this, but there is some nice options. I think I would run all of my light switches down here, so work lights rear, work lights front, headlights, high beams, beacons, indicators, all of that you could run from there, which is quite nice. Maybe there's a weather panel in here somewhere as well. Yes, Jacob, you will need to re-download them if I've uploaded newer versions. Your current one will still work, but yes, you will have to re-download them if you want that new functionality. So yes, there we are. So that's Sim Dashboard. Hope you like that. Right, what should we do next? Anybody got any questions on Sim Dashboard before we shut it down? I'll try and answer those, and then we'll maybe jump into a little bit of thumbnail creation. How about that? And remember, you guys, if you're not in the Discord already, jump in the Discord. Join the Discord. There's loads of information. There's some really knowledgeable guys in there as well, who know a lot more about Farm Sim than I do, who will be able to answer your questions and things like that. Is there any other vector graphics software other than Illustrator? There are quite a few different ones, Kevin. I'm just trying to think what they are. I can't remember any off the top of my head. Some other pieces of software, so Photoshop as well. You can use vector graphics in there, and actually Pixlr as well. Pixlr, which is free, will work with vector graphics as well. So PXLER. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to do thumbnails. I'm going to show you how to do thumbnails in Photoshop tonight. But actually, Pixlr is Affinity Designer. There you go. 3 p.m. Thank you, mate. I'll show them in Photoshop, but basically everything I'm showing you in Photoshop you could do in Pixlr as well. And actually, if you guys want to see me do it in Pixlr, we could jump into Pixlr as well and almost replicate what we do in Photoshop in Pixlr. I'm just a little bit rusty on Pixlr because I don't use it a lot. John Mark, shoot, yeah, ask a question, mate. Avatar the Gamer, did you get a tablet and install an app that makes the Sim Dashboard? Yes, there's actually an Android app called Sim Dashboard, and then all we're doing is creating screens within that. So I'm not the smart person who came up with the idea of Sim Dashboard, but he has created a tool that is very flexible for designing stuff on. So, and I like design stuff. What can I say? Do it as a job. What mods do I have? Oh, now that would take up the whole stream, John. I've probably got about 2,000 mods in total. I've probably switched some on and some off. So, evening T-Man, this is Adobe Illustrator. Let me see. About Illustrator. Yes, this is the 2020 version. Crikey, I need to update it. George, no, I don't make mods. I'm not clever enough to do that, I'm afraid. 2D design is about my limit. As soon as you get me into Blender, I know there's a copy of Blender down there. Yes, I've had a play, but oh, is there, Pigger? Did I leave it in? Good. Yes. If you click on the link in the description, most of my mods are in there. I think I took all the maps out just because it was so massive. They were going to charge me for storage space with all the maps in. Would I ever create a dashboard for a Puma CVX case? I'm going to let you into a little secret here. Sim dashboard screens. I have a folder here, and look what's in here. Let me open it. So the quick answer is yes. It's on the list of things to do. We are going to build case screens. Case screens are ugly. They need to get a better designer, I have to say. Compared to John Deere screens, they are ugly. George Geo, I am designing sim dashboard screens for sim dashboard. Yes, I maybe do a Fent one as well. Yeah, there's just quite a lot to do. If I do case and Fent ones, I'll probably do the odd screen, or I might do a universal one that has no branding on it. And then it's universal and you can use it on any tractor. But yeah, no, I'll definitely, if there's demand there and I've got time, absolutely, I'd love to do it. Have I picked out the John Deere cab I'm putting in my room for the sim yet? Still working on it, Jess. I think the biggest challenge there is going to be convincing the missus that she wants a tractor in her front room. So, okay. There you go. There's a little bit of the insight into sim dashboard. Evening time lapse. How are we doing? Yeah, make an AGCO one. That's a good call, Liam. Good call. Yeah. And it can be anything, can't it? Massey, Fent. So there you go. That is sim dashboard. I keep saying that, don't I? I'm just going to have a quick look in the Discord. And we've got a nice thumbnail from Grizzly in there, so we'll fire that one up to start with. Grizzly, you're going to have to give me a bit more information. How many episodes have you done? What map is it on? Things like that. Evening, Argsy, how are you doing? Argsy, you're on holiday, you're not supposed to be in here. I'm just going to save this. I'll save this and I'll close down Illustrator and then we'll fire up Photoshop. And I'll talk you through kind of some of the things that I do with my thumbnails and why you can save yourself a whole heap of time. And I'm glad Argsy's here as well, because he'll be able to give you a bit of an insight, because he's pretty good with the thumbnails as well. Thumbnails are so important, right? Just for if you're running a channel and you're doing a YouTube channel, thumbnails are so critical to making people click on your vid, almost more so than anything else, because that's the first visual thing. So if you've managed to get yourself, the algorithm's grabbed a hold of you because you've had a good video, the next video you put up is going to be posted on homepage, the YouTube homepage, and the recommended vids. And if your thumbnail's crap, nobody's gonna click on it. So always make a bit of an effort. Always try your hardest to. I always take a bit of time out when I'm playing to spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes taking a really good photo, playing around with the settings, and I'll just open it up now. So I actually have a folder in my So this is every single screenshot I've taken ever in game. I did start taking them in RAW format, but realised that was going to cost me about £1 million in hardware just to store it. So so there we go. We've got. Let me open this one for just an example. So what I've done there, you can change the field of view settings in. Evening, Nathaniel. How you doing? You can change your views in your field of view. If you've got Easy Dev mod, Easy Developer Tools, you can. T-Man Gaming, does it need to be hooked up to Verizon or an AT&T service to use this app? No, as long as it's on the same Wi-Fi network as your computer, it will work. Now I actually use my computer is hardwired. I've got an Ethernet into my PC for gaming purposes, and the Android is running on the same. So that Ethernet cable is plugged into my router, and that router is my Wi-Fi as well, and they talk to each other perfectly. So so there we go. Should be pretty straightforward. So yes, screenshots. Screenshots are important, purely because people will either look at it and go, that's cool, or they won't. So changing field of view is something that Argsy taught me a few weeks ago, actually. I'd never done it before, and it makes a huge difference because it makes them look more realistic. Makes it look more like a human eye field of vision, because actually I think the field of vision in the game is quite wide. So there you go. You'll probably recognize a few of these shots if you've seen my vids. That's the live stream last Wednesday. So I take a bit of time, fly around, maybe take a few different versions of the shot as well. I also I use Nvidia. I do Coleman. Timing's perfect. Do I adjust contrast and saturation? Yes. So I use the Nvidia control panel. Actually, it should work now if I press Alt Z. So the GeForce Experience here has a photo mode in it, and I bring this up. Oh, I'm not a game on, but you can bring it up here, and I actually have some filters in there to bump up the colors, so they're not as washed out. But if you've got an Nvidia card, guys, that is the best. The best way of taking photos. It's Alt Z. You can grab the photo almost sometimes without realizing. And actually, if you're capturing the game using OBS or something like that, the overlay doesn't even show up if you're capturing a game rather than just a screen. So T-Man Gaming, by an Android tablet, what do you recommend? Basically the cheapest one you can get. If all you're going to use it for is Sim Dashboard, mate, get the cheapest one you can get, because it virtually uses no memory space, and it is really lightweight. So like I said earlier, I think I was using my daughter's 6-year-old Kindle Fire that I'd hacked so I could get the Play Store on it to download Sim Dash, and it worked absolutely faultlessly. So yeah, don't go spending money on one unless you want one that does everything for you. I wouldn't bother spending too much money on it. No worries at all. So here's an example for the Marksville vid that I did the other day. This was the one that I actually chose, but I took another one as well, which is that one. And again, it's about framing your shots, just the same as any decent anything with good photography. You frame your shots. You want to have a point of visual reference, or you want to have something. I mean, that's I modded that the other day. Look, I've got dual floaters on that. How crazy does that look? Screenshots for somebody who's asking about resolution. Yeah, so framing it, something interesting in the background, or I actually pulled these into this field and set them up so they looked good. There you go. That's it from a different angle. That is from the map tour I did of I forgot what it's called. Bulls something. Oh my, I'm tired. But look, again, even going into easy development mods, easy developer panel, and changing the time of day can make a huge impact. There you go. That's middle of the day. and that was first thing in the morning. So you can, you know, have a play around. There you go. There's another one where we've changed the field of view to 30 in Easy Dev as well. And what I would say as well is don't fill the screen, because what you want this space around here to fit in a headline, a title, but also don't do too much. Don't do too much. This is something I see all of the time. You remember your headline's going to do most of your work for you. All you want, this is just visual interest for people. So you don't need your logo on here, because they're going to be on your page, or they're going to see your profile picture anyway. So you don't need to put it on the screenshot as well, on the thumbnail as well. Keep it simple. I mean, don't write huge swathes of information as well. Yeah, you don't need to put the map on here. You can put that in the title. It's actually better if you put it in the title, because obviously the search function will pick it up, whereas if it's an image, it's not going to be picked up. So lots and lots of different things to do. So what we'll do, let me just, do you know what I'll do? I'll open up one of my PSDs from one of my maps. So, and actually, do you know what I'll do? I'll open up Farmersburg, because there was something about Farmersburg that people liked, and I think it was just, I mean, I ran the US flag down the side of it. And again, I did put the name of the map in here. So, contrary to what I just said, you can put the name of the map in if you want, but because it was a new map, I thought, you know, that might help. But again, Iowa corn, my Iowa corns, I actually created. So there you go, Iowa corn. So my Flint Hill series is called Iowa corn. I gave it a name. And again, see what I've done here. If you think, I bet if you check your stats, if you're a YouTuber, you check your stats, I bet you between 70 and 80% of the people who are looking at your channel will be looking at it from a phone. And there's probably the last 10, 20, 30% will be a mix of tablets and desktop PCs. Do you do screenshots with Nvidia and record with OBS? Yes, I do, Coleman. Yeah. That overlay doesn't show up when you're recording OBS. If you're capturing the game, it doesn't show up. So again, it doesn't even impact on you. I usually take a couple of screenshots when I'm recording. So yes, what I was saying, bear in mind, the likelihood is people are going to be seeing your thumbnail at that size, or that size, so you're barely able to get a lot of information in before they barely get enough text on there and you won't be able to read it. So I would strongly recommend keep your text to a minimum. What text you do put on, make it huge. Make it as big as you can, but not encroaching on your picture. That's actually a bad picture. And also the other great thing about Photoshop is if I turn this off, every single one of my old thumbnails is saved in here. So it becomes very easy once you've got a template for a series to just drag the new image in, change the episode number, and you're done. Dead simple. So, right. So let's, as Grizzly isn't here at the moment, I think he's disappeared. We'll do his thumbnail in a little while. But what we'll do now, let's build a thumbnail from scratch. So you'll have your screenshot. Let's go and get a screenshot again. So we'll just pick one. Let's run down to the bottom here. What have I got in here? In fact, there's a good one. Let's open that. Actually, I'm going to use this for my thumbnail for tomorrow's video. So we'll build tomorrow's thumbnail live. Now, just where the light was and the fact it was late on in the day, that's quite dark. That's kind of flat, that image. So there's a few ways you can go into this. You can go in and adjust levels, which basically crops out some of that darker data there. Again, this is something you just need to have a play around with because every photo is different, but you'll see as I move these sliders, They do different things, but usually this histogram here, you want to have all the elements of it touching. So there is probably the most optimal place for it. It does squash some of the colours out, but you can live with that. Again, it's going to be so small and it's going to be optimised as well. So Jacob, take care. Thanks for dropping by. Curves as well. This is quite good. This gives you an option to add in elements. Like you say, you can adjust things, and it plays around with the light and the shade in them. Actually, I'm actually kind of happy with that. I might bump up the brightness a little bit. Don't want it to be too light. You don't want to burn out your sun. See, there's a little bit of blue there, so we don't want to burn that out. You also don't want to spend too much time on this. And then really what I want to do for this is just stick a little bit of text up at the top. Now, fonts. Let's talk about fonts. Canvas Pro is a good app as well, mate. So what I'll do here, fonts are really important, and I'll tell you why. Because in your computer, your base fonts are pretty dull. So I would definitely recommend going and finding yourself some nice fonts. So there's tons of great font sites, but this dafont.com is really, really good. They've got so many different options here, from everything from, there you go, cartoon, and you can really find a style here. And again, once you find a style for a series, stick with that style. Again, people like consistency. So yeah, go make sure you get good fonts. So I've got one here called Norwester, which I really, really like. So what we'll do, let's call it. Looks like. I'm not going to call this, but there you go for now. Now for me, that's still a little bit small, purely because, again, what I was saying before, people are going to be seeing it this size, or maybe this size at least. How many of you are watching on your phones now and actually can't see that? That's the X9 Combine, T-Man. That is Sid Modding's X9 Combine. It's an absolute beast. So I'm bumping the size of that up. And this is what I was saying, when you're thinking about setting your shots up, when you're thinking about setting your shots up, leave yourself space. When you're taking your photo, go, well, actually, I can put my text up there without it encroaching on, you don't want text over your image particularly. I mean, it doesn't work. So always leave yourself some space, top and bottom, to fit in your text. And again, that's why you could, if you really wanted to, you could do that black or a dark color. It's quite heavy though, so you maybe want to, you can be quite clever with this now and just, correct, you've got a John Deere combine. You could go with a picker here, take colors out of the image as well is always a good tip. And again, if you want to add other elements to it as well, you can add in a stroke around the text. So again, make sure it's big enough so it stands out. White again doesn't really work on that, so you could actually again go and grab some of this yellow maybe. Might not work, but again, that's part of the trial, isn't it? And that doesn't work, to be honest. I think that looks ugly, so we won't be doing that. Actually, that one for me looks quite good in just the green. I taught how to use to remove backgrounds yet. No, James, I don't think there's any need to remove backgrounds. I just think kind of clean. Yes, 1920 by 1080 for thumbnails, absolutely, 100%. YouTube actually knocks you back if you haven't got a high-res thumbnail, it'll actually affect your ability to be found. The algorithm is one of the things the algorithm checks. So, evening Coleman, how you doing? What are you laughing at? The header's in the in-game mod hub. So there we go. I mean, again, if you wanted to, you could put, if it was relevant, you could put the name of the map in, but you don't need to. Keeping it simple is definitely my recommendation. You've got 70 characters to play with on. You've got 70 characters to play with on your head. Well, you've got more. You can put more than 70 in, but YouTube again recommends up to 70. Anything more than 70, it starts to have a detrimental effect on the algorithm again, because they decide it's too long. You're trying to fit too much information, but you can get a lot of information in it. T-Man, just search Sid Modding on Facebook. You'll find the combine. So there you go. Nice, simple way. And then exporting. Just make sure it's under 2 megabytes. That's the important one. It won't let you upload it if it's more than 2 megabytes. But I usually find exporting it not as a PNG, but as a high-res JPEG, usually around about 100% or 90%. I never have. I think I've only ever twice had a shot that's ever been over 2 meg in size. And actually, even with all this detail in the crops, it never seems to go over that. So not a huge issue. Do I know how to put a white line around the images? Yes, so in fact I'll open up one of my old thumbnails again for this, because I did it with let me see what I can find here. Did I put them in tutorials? I did. So there you go, my touch screen. So there's a cutout there. So I've cut out that. Oh, that's a JPEG. That's no use. Let me go and get the PSDs, and it would be some dashboard. Let's find out. Yeah, phew. So you can see here, I actually took a photo of my tablet. Oh, which on the phones? Yeah. How do I remember where my old stuff is? Yeah, the filing system. I'm actually quite organised, actually. So there you go, graphics files. I've got some, I don't know why it's Fortnite stuff in there. My son's been on this computer a lot recently. So look, in my graphics files for FS19, I've got each of my series. So in each one of these, I could go in and find any thumbnail I wanted. But equally then, I've also got PSDs, which is Photoshop documents. So in there I've got all my templates. So for my next episode of Millennial Farmer, for example, I will just open it and drag in a new photo over the top of it, tweak things a little bit, and then output it. So it probably takes about 5 minutes to do a thumbnail there in Photoshop. Now I've got my template set up. Who was asking about cutting stuff out? Coleman. How others put a white line. So what I've done here, and I'm going to turn the effect off. So basically, I've got. I wonder if I could show you how to do this. I don't know where that photo is anymore. Let me see if I can find that photo. Other graphics is in here. Gonna sneak peek into my life now. There you go. Well, let's just drag that in, shall we? So there you go, Gen 4 screen. So the easiest way to do this would just be to cut it out. Now there's numerous ways of doing it. If you've got a flat background, you can remove the background quite easily. Let me move this to the top here. T-Man, no, Millennial Farmer isn't out and probably isn't going to come out for a long time. I'm going to be really quick here, and basically you go around the screen like so. You can use the pen tool and do this. There's a few different ways you can mask this off as well. This is usually the easiest way if you don't want to spend ages on it. And I'm being very rough around the edges here. There we go. So you've got that, see that dotted line around it now? And then you would select, you would inverse that, hit delete, and of course it's, I need to rasterize it first, beg your pardon. Trial and error this stuff, so there you go. You have a cutout there now. And you can position that anywhere you like. Transform it, scale it, shrink it down, whatever. But then to what you can do then, the options you've got available to you here, in your layer tools here, you can go into layer style, you can add a stroke onto it. Like we were talking about the text there, so see the black around the white text there, that's a stroke in your layer styles. So again, you can add a stroke around it if you want to, and you can adjust the size of that, big or small. If you want something a little bit more elegant, I don't like strokes around it. I think it looks a little bit harsh. You can do a feather, so in layer style, outer glow, beg your pardon. So again, you can pick your color. So let's just, I'm going to pick a horrible color here just to demonstrate what it does. And then you can play around with the size of it. That can be quite bright. You can play around with the spread of it. You can knock the opacity back. Knock the spread back. There you go, so it's glowing horribly pink. But again, just play around with it. Different ways of doing it. So that's quite good. And if you want, I mean, again, everybody's got their own style, and this is where it comes into. You don't have to, don't copy everybody else. Try and find your own way of doing it as well. You know, color overlays as well. You can put color overlay on it. You can knock the opacity back if you want a tint of something. Textures over things as well. Now, obviously that doesn't really work for an image, but for example, look, if I select my text, I can add a layer style. Where's it gone? Pattern overlay. So there you go. You can have a pattern there. Pick different patterns. You can knock the opacity back. You can change the color of it as well. Lots of defaults in there, so you can actually add your own images if you want in there. So again, they each do their own thing. It's just experimenting, really, isn't it? It's all about experimenting. Gradient overlays as well. Put a gradient on your text. Why not? Again, there's presets. I don't know why the presets are always so ugly, but there you go. You could do silver text. But yeah, there's lots of different ways of making your thumbnails your own. And actually, do you know who does it really well? Is Argsy. Oh, take it easy, Argsy. Didn't know he was going. Yeah, Argsy does his really well. He's almost like you see a thumbnail from Argsy, you know it says, oh, Argsy's. Daggerwin does it really as well. You just know that they're his thumbnails when you see them. You don't even need to read the title of the vid. So, right, now you're back, Grizzly. Tell me about your photo. So I'm going to close these down. So here's the shot that Grizzly put in. And the first thing I'm going to say to him is, it's a 400 by 225 pixel image. That is not good enough. That is not good enough. It needs to be 1920 by 1080, really. Like I said, it can affect your weighting of your video in terms of search results and the YouTube algorithm if you don't have a high res image in there. So, do you know what I'm going to do? Though I'm just going to check and make sure that I haven't downloaded a low res version. And it looks like that's the case. So, oh, thank you, Coleman, coming in with a £5 super chat there, or €5 super chat. Thank you, mate. That's awesome. Right. Copy and place. Right, I take it back. Grizzly. Let me close that, and we'll open a new one. There we go. So I take it all back, Grizzly. Sorry, I was giving you abuse there. Oh, it's only 1280 by 720 though. So, strong recommendation, always 1920 by 1080, if you can. Always that. Now, what would you do here? What's your, what map is this, Grizz? Take care, Pepper. Thanks for dropping by. What are we trying to do in this vid? This is your, is this your realistic series? Westby, okay. So with something like this, where you've got the trees in the background, even with a, so let's just. So you could do something like that. Now the trees in the background do cause a bit of an issue. Westby 7, no, it's a new place. And now what I would have done, a little bit of advice, taken another step further back. Just made this ever so slightly smaller. Not that's an issue. And another way around that, actually. There you go. This is why you kind of think on the fly here. You can actually scale it. So you could scale it back slightly. Gives you a little bit more space. Drop another layer in here. And like I said, I'm doing this in Photoshop, but exactly the same functionality exists in, most photo software has the same kind of functionality. So let's color the background in this. So let's be nice and pick a dropper tool. Let's take. That might be a bit ugly, but we'll give it a go. Trial and error. It's always trial and error with this stuff. Yeah, actually, you want it to be proportionally right as well then. So there you go. There you go. You can have a frame around it if you want. Always, this is another thing as well I see a lot of people doing. Evening, Austin. How you doing? All the best, Coleman. Have fun, mate. That sounds grim. 2 days. Scale it back. Scale your text down. What's the series? Grizz? Is it realistic? You could actually, I mean, you can either say, this is what I'm going to do in this episode. You probably want to put your episode. Is it a series, Grizz? Do you need an episode? Because you could do that as well. I would also say and again, this is just my opinion, and you don't have to do what I tell you. Precision farming realism series, right? This is just kind of stuff that I kind of have picked up over time. Is don't mix your fonts up as well. Don't put 5 different fonts on your thumbnail. It doesn't really help kind of from a consistency perspective. don't know what to call this actually. Realism Farming Series. I don't know. So something like this, and maybe you might want to put Westby, Wisconsin on this as well. Unlimited Gaming, thank you very much. Really kind of you. Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Sometimes you just have to think about kind of. So actually, something like this, I would probably go for the map name, and put where you've got more space to get more copy in. Put that in your headline. Put that in your video title. Something like Realistic Farming on Westby, Wisconsin. And leave your name of your map up there. Something else you can do as well. You could put a little flash in the corner if it's a new series or something like that. You could just run a flash in the corner of your map if you wanted to do something like that. I've got a triangle here, rectangle tool. Again, cheeky way of doing it. Scale it up if you want. Yeah. Try again. Got fat fingers, I always hit the wrong buttons. You're holding shift down makes it jump in proportionally as well. There you go. And then you can double click in that and you can change the color of it so you can make it stand out a little bit more. Maybe not red. Danger. There you go. And then you could grab in little change the color of that. Transform, rotate, holding shift down as well so you know it will be the same. In fact, before I do that, I'm going to change the size of it. Now you can go in and just change the font size. Sometimes it's easy to just go and grab the text and size it as you would an image, a box or a shape. Transform, rotate, hold the shift button down, and there you go. Try yellow. Yeah, I should try yellow actually. 5 folder layers with 10 in each, that's not a bad idea. Then you, so there you go. Not a really gaudy, horrible bright yellow. Let's find a kind of muted, like a farm yellow. The John Deere yellow. Again, you've got the option here, you've got your droplet tool here, so you can actually go and grab a corner of a seat, or actually think we might boost this image a little bit. Before you call one, we'll go into here. Sorry, Grizzly. And we'll go into here. See what the levels are doing. Well, they're not bad actually. Saturation, spot the saturation. There you go. Bit of life to it. Just a little bit of life to it. Let's go back into our colours here. Take a drop it to the kind of brightest part of the seat now. There you go. That feels in keeping. Maybe a little keyline around this text. I want to see how the background of this is just starting to kind of. It's just not as easy to read as that's fine in the green at the top. There's a good bit of contrast there. You can you could maybe just put a little stroke around that just to give it a little bit of standout. Not white, obviously. White on white does not work. But there you go. You could just give it a little bit, not too much. You don't want to look cartoony. You want to kind of have a level of sophistication about it. Something like that. I'm not loving that yellow. I don't know what you guys think. Corner tab again. green in the tab, do we think? John Deere green. Evening Gardog, evening Ben, how you doing guys? Right, okay, let's leave new series, let's move to new series. For T-Man, let's do the corner flash again. I mean, there's lots of different ways you can do it. You could draw a triangle. I'm the laziest Photoshopper in the world. So basically I would take a shape, which is this rectangle drawing tool down here. Now if you click and hold down, you've got different shapes. So you can do a custom shape tool if you want to do a triangle there. In fact, I haven't done that for ages. Does that draw on a line or no? Ignore me. I'm not experimenting. So yeah, you go down to the rectangle tool here. You just draw a rectangle. If you want to resize it, you just go transform path, not rotate, edit, transform path scale, and you can scale it up. Transform path, rotate. Again, if you hold shift down, so if you move over your corner blocks, hold shift down, it snaps in 15-degree increments even, and then move it over there. And there you go, click off it. And then to change the colour, you basically just need to click on here. And let's go and get... Now we've boosted the John Deere colour, it might look a bit better. So that's a bit dark. But you can actually just go and grab a... That's too light, that bit, see? So you see, I mean, trial and error wise, it starts to kind of disappear in on itself. So, too dark. You just move it around until you find a colour you like. I actually think we might need to fudge this. Kind of make it think it's doing a John Deere colour. So we found that green there. But then you can see you've still got your full colour range here, so you could just kind of drag that up slightly. What you don't want, so see where it was there, it started to blend in with the browns in the background. You want it to stand out a bit, because you want people to notice it. So you don't want it to be too muted. That's too muted, it starts to disappear into the back of the image. But maybe about here somewhere. You need to bump it up a bit. Something else you can do as well here, which will help you as well, is you can put a little drop shadow on this. So layer style in here, drop shadow. If I move this out of the way. So again, you've got a black line there now. We can move the spread size. There we go. Put a little bit of shadow on it. That just gives it a little bit of contrast and a bit of standout from the image in the background. See, that's subtle, but it's just another level of kind of sophistication. Drop your new series back on. Now it's too big that, because I haven't done that triangle as big as the other one. So what we just do now is go and scale our text a little bit. Ooh, it's all distorted now. Actually, I'm not gonna resize it that way now. I'll just go in and change the size. So I'll do it to about there. I take it as a new series, and we're playing around with this, and it's not a new series. He's done like 4 episodes already, so we've got this flash in the corner he doesn't need. Change that to white. Again, just for contrast, you want it to stand out against the green. Actually, I think that west beat is almost just a little bit too big as well. I'm going to move that down a little bit. My god, what happened to this music? It's awful. There we go. Oh, colour mode amazing. I think I'm in RGB. Yep, I'm in RGB. James. Only 2, lol 3. Well, it's still a new series. You're only kind of... There you go. Still on it. The other thing you could do as well is, if I jump back into Illustrator, I'm going to give you a present with this one. I did this today for one of my screens. It's my gift to you, Grizzly, because it's relevant to your relevant to your new series. And we'll change this to, what do we think it'll be? White. Group it. White. Well, it's one of those things when you change it to white and then you can't find it to copy it. There you go. Got to do those as strokes so they are different. So grab that, copy. We go back to Photoshop now. Paste as pixels. Now I could paste that as a smart object and then you could go back into Illustrator and make tweaks to it if you wanted to. This might not work, only because it's but there you go, you could run a little icon on the cutter. People start to recognise that. James Ansell, why would you use CMYK? CMYK is for printing presses. RGB is for screen. Never use CMYK for stuff that you're not going to print on a printer in a printer. RGB is always screen. I would put a little bit of a drop shadow on this, I think, or something, a little bit of a glow to make it stand out, just because it's on a pattern background, stuff doesn't stand out. Outer glow. Not in green though. That's probably a little bit harsh. Back. There we go. That's a bit harsh. Not my opacity back a little bit to that. What do you think? No. Oh. Hard to judge. That's not bad. Just makes it stand out a little bit as you go smaller. That probably needs another. Just going to bump that stroke up ever so slightly. 4 is just a little bit. Five. Let's say 5. Whoa, not 54. This is my problem now, I just start tinkering. Why is there just a stroke on episode 1 rather than both, or the other way around? I mean, you could, to be honest, Britt. The reason here is if you turn the stroke off episode 1, just because it's a pattern background, it's not as clearly red, whereas I think there's quite a lot of contrast between the white and the green up there, so it doesn't need it. You can read that text pretty well, but I kind of thought it just lifted, especially as you go smaller. Actually, it's not that bad, but I kind of thought, you know, that stroke helped that slightly. Now I can't turn it back on. There you go. But you could do it on both. Absolutely no reason why you couldn't put it on both. In fact, let's do that, shall we? And it remembers your settings from the last one as well, so you could do it like that. I think both of them look good. What do you think, Grizzly? You happy with that? Does that work? Let me zoom in. Like I said, that was a bit of a, you know, you could fiddle around with this for hours, and you know, what one person likes, what you like, might not be something that somebody else likes, and that's what makes it cool, because it's your channel, it's your way of doing things, so you do it your way. But equally, at the same time, there's some fundamentals there that you can that help you just from legibility wise. So. So there we go. Have you got a copy of Photoshop, Grizzly? I can send you the PSD and the font and everything. And then you can change it around if you want. But there we go. There we go. Right, I'm going to take a few questions now, just to see We'll probably call it there at the end of this. Of that. If there's anything anybody else is desperate to know or interested to know, let me know, and I'll answer a few questions. Not just about Photoshop or Illustrator and Sim Dashboard. Happy to editing questions or anything like that as well. Just shoot. I hope you find this useful, guys. It's been fun talking about it. It's definitely different to playing games live, and thanks for all the feedback. And obviously, there's a lot of people in here who interested in this stuff, so I'm glad I can sit and share it with you. But yes, if there's anything else you want to know, is that a custom font or an Adobe one? Britt, yeah, we talked about fonts before and saying that basically the base fonts on the computer are kind of boring. So one of the things I would really recommend is going and finding fonts, and there's loads and loads of really good resources out there. This is one I use a lot. But the variety of fonts on here, and most of these are free for personal use as well. So you can go and find these without having to pay. But there you go, American Captain. There's some really nice ones in here. So you can start to get carried away and start to have some real fun with this stuff, which is quite good fun. So, and again, if you've not been on my merch store yet, you'll see like some of the work that I've done with distressed fonts on there, like the Flint Hills t-shirt. There you go. Had some fun playing with, picking the fonts out for that. That's right, you can actually, yeah, in here. So you can type in here. You could type in. There you go. Or put in whatever you want. But there's loads of other stuff out. Font Squirrel's another really good one. Some of them, what's nice about these is you can use all these, the majority of these for personal use, beg your pardon. But Font Squirrel, other places like that are really good as well. So we've talked about that before, haven't we, Guard Dog? You fill your carburetor with white slime from corn. So yeah, fonts. I think fonts are one of the things that can make the biggest difference in terms of making your thumbnail stand out. Because you could actually, again, I've got loads of different ones in here, but what's nice as well, you can scroll through them and you can see different. It's probably not the best one to do it on because it's covered up, but your episode 1 here. You could select that layer and go through, and what's nice about Photoshop now is never used to do this. You just had to remember what the font looked like back in the day. Listen to me, I'm like an old man. Yeah, you can just scroll through now and see the different fonts. So as long as you've got it downloaded, and installing fonts is a doddle as well, like super easy. So in fact, you know what? I'll just do one for you now. So let's say American Captain, that looks quite like that. So you can click on it here. Like usually give you a few demonstrations, show you all the different glyphs as well, which is quite nice. So some of them don't have all the glyphs in, so some maybe don't have some of the different things, but this looks like it's a pretty robust font. And you just hit download. It's opened on my other screen. But basically in here you'll have either a .otf, which is an open type font, or a TTF, which is a true type font. You double click on it, it will open. So there you go. American Captain, open type font, OTF. And you basically hit the install button. And that's you. Simple as that. So if we went back to Photoshop now, American Captain, the worst thing is remembering the name of it. American Captain, there you go, and it's in. Simple. That's another thing you can do as well, while I remember now, if I pull up my characters screen here, you can adjust the width of the font. So if you want a little bit of a space between it, or tighten it up a little bit, you can play around with it that way. I'm not going to leave it in this font. As well, if you're running it over 2 lines as well, so this is a trick actually. So if, let's say you had a third, let's do that. Let's do farm. To make that easier to read, or you want to wrap it around your text a little bit, you can drop that onto a second line. Now you see how they're overlapped there. You can just highlight that and you can move. It's called I can't remember, leading, tracking. Leading's what we were just doing there, stretching the font out. This is tracking. So it's actually a little bit easier to read, or there's a natural break in the writing. So you can. Obviously, we don't need to do that because most of the people watching are going to know what it is. I'll put that font back actually, just so we've got consistency. I'm not against using more than one font. Definitely use more than one font if you want. What was it called? Nor'Wester. There it is. And minus 50. It's on plus 50 now. Just tighten it up as well. I kind of like fonts that have just kind of been finessed slightly, tickled, if you will. So there we go. A little bit about fonts. Right, other questions. Did I see I've been not paying attention to the text? Questions about mods in FS19? Yeah, if you want, Thomas. Might not be able to answer them. 3 PM, thanks for the tips. No, you're welcome. I love sharing this stuff. I love sharing all this stuff. 4K subs and under, yeah, that's right, Adam. Yeah, scary stuff. How you doing, mate? Hiya, JC. So, what did I... let me go to... I'll show you what I did for... In fact, do you know what I'm going to do? Let me save that. Let me just save that for you, Grizzly. I'm going to jump into... HitFilm, my editing software. Because again, exporting as PNG, I'm going to shut everything down. I'm surprised my computer's actually still functioning. There's so much stuff open. I picked up the John Deere X9 mod. I can't get it unloaded into a grain car, but not a regular car. Do you know, you have to be parked. It actually spits it out like it's coming, you know, if you like took a liquid in a straw and sprayed it out of your mouth. It spits it so far away from the pipe, it doesn't drop straight out the end of the pipe. I had the same issue on Flint Hills this afternoon, and yeah, you park as far away as you can from it, and it finally worked. So, Glenn B, Merry belated Christmas and Happy New Year, and same to you. Thank you very much indeed. Emmanuel, you might have said this past, but do you expect we will get the next iteration of Farm Sim, whether it be Farm Sim 21 or something else? We will get it. I don't expect it to be in 2021. I would expect it to probably be coming up towards the end of 2022. So let's just open up Marksville here. I'm going to just have to... What's asset 1? To relink one of my files. Hang on a sec. That'll be in my desktop dump. Yeah, there it is. This is HitFilm. This is what I use for my editing. Pretty similar to all other editing software. Now I just need to do a reset on Workspace because my timeline is on the other side, on the other page. Editing. There we go. There you go. You can see everything now. So this is where you import your clips, and so there's my footage, raw footage. In fact, that's actually flyovers I did at the end of the map. If you've not seen this yet, it's a brilliant map, by the way. Get excited about it. But you basically, I record. So there we go. I've got 24 minutes of footage there, 10 minutes of footage there. and you can drag and so basically you drag that down into your timeline here, and you scroll along. You can scrub along with this, clip where you want to clip it. But what I was saying there, when you export images, if you export them as PNG, so for example, let's just drag that over there. So there, that is a logo I did for Marksville to go on this map. Now if I drag that down into here, you'll see because it's a PNG, let me zoom in a little bit more, rather than a JPEG, instantly you can overlay it over an image, and it's got a transparent background. You have to obviously put a transparent background on it, but there we go. And then you can scale it up, frame it nicely in the image, and then as you move over it, you've got the nice graphic. You can add a fade in there as well, so you can just put a little cross dissolve at the front there. So again, use graphics as well in your vids if you can. Don't just use text. If you want to kind of create a little logo for one of your series that you can introduce into your vid, you know, if you output it in the right format, you can overlay it over your text as well. T-Man, the X9, you shouldn't need to log into your Facebook page. It's a public page, so you should be able to. If you just search Sid Modding in Google, it'll bring up his page, and you'll be able to download the link without needing to log into your Facebook. So yeah, you don't worry about that. Yeah, Adobe is a subscription-based model now. If you're a student, you get a big discount, and obviously, I will not condone piracy of software. But it's not much, you know. I think a student's about £10 a month. No worries at all, T-Man. Happy to help. Happy to help. Filmora is a good editing software as well. Yep. They all do very much the same thing. But I'm not. Nobody's paying me. But HitFilm do a free version as well, and I have to say it's the most complete in terms of functions that of any software that I've used. So if you're looking for something different and new, give it a shot. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro or anything like that, but also they cost a bit. So, well, that's another one. Yeah, if you're at college, there are definitely student versions of it that you can be able to get a hold of for sure. So, but it is hands down the best. I mean, there's a reason. It's kind of common vernacular these days. Photoshopping something, thanks to the likes of Kim Kardashian. People say Photoshop for everything, but it is the best tool out there, without a shadow of a doubt. Okay, guys, I think we'll probably call it there. I'll hang on for another sort of 5 minutes. I think my feed is about 10 seconds behind me talking and actually you guys hearing it. So if there's anything else you want to know, give me a shout. I'll hang on for about 5 minutes. We'll answer a few more questions. If not, I hope that was useful. Hope you enjoyed it. If it's something we want to do again, maybe, happy to do that. I'd love to design a few more thumbnails for you guys and stuff, just for a bit of fun. And if not, I will see you on Wednesday for a bit of Flint Hills action with the X9 on Flint Hills. And also the new John Deere air cart and seeder. So you're welcome to drop back on Wednesday for a Flint Hills stream. And keep an eye out for tomorrow's video as well. There's a little X9 showcase vid, which I'll let you see. In fact, no, I was going to show you, but I just remembered this. If it was just a stream and it wasn't going live afterwards, I would have showed you. But you know, I'll give you a sneak peek. How about that? I'll give you a sneak peek. Discard, because I'm good to you. I'm going to turn the other music off. 1, because it's awful. 2, because I want you to hear this. Okay. Let's see what happens here. And I'm just going to show you, I'm literally going to show you in this corner here. So I'm still editing it at the moment, so it's not perfect yet. But if you like my intro, you might like this. I'll show you the first sort of 20 seconds. There you go, that's all you're getting. You have to wait till tomorrow to see the rest of it. So, editor is nice. Thank you. It's a brilliant bit of kit. They, like I said, T-Man, for me, it's one of the best editors that I've seen. Do you know what I'll do? If I close that showcase, I'm going to open it again here, just so you can see the front page. It's a really nice bit of kit. Now I've got the Pro version now. I've upgraded myself, but they do one called HitFilm Express, which is let me see if I can get you it up, which is free, and it has a lot of the functionality that HitFilm Pro has. So HitFilm Express here, and they do brilliant tutorials and things like that as well. So like even on here, they always have their tutorials about what they're doing on. But HitFilm Express, you can download for free. They do ask for a donation, but you don't actually have to put a figure in, or you can put $1 in or something like that if you feel like you want to support them. But it's awesome. So HitFilm Express, if you're unsure of what software to use, or you're just starting out, it looks and feels just like the Pro version there. So definitely one worth looking at for sure. It is really, really good. So much so that I moved from using Adobe Premiere because there was just so many tools I just didn't need. I didn't need a bit of software that good, if you know what I mean. It was overkill. So there you go. That's my tuppence worth on it. Home of Eat, how are you doing? We've been editing, we've been designing stuff, we've been doing this, that, and the other. Vegas Pro's a good bit of kit. Yeah, Vegas Pro, can't knock that. Am I sure that's not for John Deere instead? Yeah, I'm gonna send it to Sid as a thank you for his hard work. Well, guys, that was great. I really enjoyed that. DaVinci Resolve is good as well, Raymond. Yep. No, we are sport for choice now. I have to say, 5 years ago there was nothing other than heavy duty editing software or appallingly bad free software that came with your video camera at the time. But no, we are sport for choice now, no question. So, well, there you go, guys. Thank you very, very much for that. Like I said, if you're up for it, it's Flint Hills on Wednesday. We'll be cracking out the 9RX or the 9R with the dual. In fact, I'll show you again just because I'm kind of pleased with myself. My first ever bit of modding. Dual floaters. I actually think he would rip the second ones off in real life, but it looks good. So, hey, we'll do that. Thank you, guys. I really enjoyed that. Hope you guys did too. If it's something you want to do again in the future, we can do that. Grizzly's got himself a thumbnail. So, so somebody got something out of it. And hopefully I'll see you all again soon. But thanks for watching. And I will see you all again very soon. Take care and bye for now.